What's going on, sports fans? This is Jake Waxman.
And Tyler Lavalette.
Welcoming you to the studios for another Friday Roundtable here in Waterford. We're going to start talking about the Tigers and the Cubs, who basically have, let's just say, made us both frustrated. Ain't that right, Tyler Lavalette?
Unfortunately, yes, we keep saying baseball is a marathon, not a sprint. But as we enter the final 3 days of May 2026, we have seen the Tigers still continue to be on the proverbial struggle bus. Dead last in the AL Central, only 5 or so games behind even a wild card spot at that, which is somewhat good news, but guys like Baez and Gleyber Torres are still out. We have pitching problems still. We have hitting woes that really showed badly against the Angels, dropping 2 of 3 from the other worst team in the AL. They're now the second worst team, sadly. And just overall not good. And this weekend, they're going up against the White Sox, who have been surprisingly playing well these days ever since they got Murakami from Japan.
Whew. Okay, if I didn't know any better, I would say that the time to hit the panic button was a few weeks ago. Like Tyler said, okay, it's a long season. There's still a chance to get that wild card spot, 5 games back. But I've got to say that I am absolutely just puzzled by this Tigers team. All these pieces that they've got, and a team that made the postseason last year. And so far, unfortunately, in not the best way, they've been the biggest surprise of this MLB season. Like, I think a lot of people, us included, probably expected this Tigers team to be a lot stronger than what they're showing. So it makes me wonder, besides the injuries and, the pitching problems that Tyler said, I hope I'm wrong about this. Could there be something going on within the organization? Maybe, I'm not going to say locker room problems, but was there a disagreement between players, coaches, or players? You guys would know more about this than I would, but the fact that they're sitting at 22-35 right now, and we're going into June, it's concerning to say the least.
That it is. I mean, people are blaming Scott Harris for this, and I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know if you blame AJ Hinch for this, but I don't know how the clubhouse culture is that down in there. It's whatever it is. Things are not good. I don't know what is up with the injury concerns that we've had lately, if it's strength and conditioning problems or what it is, but it is just perplexing, to say the least. This was a team that was supposed to go guns blazing, compete for the Central, maybe compete for a World Series if the cards fell right. Unfortunately, so far things have not gone well. And it's bad. Really, really bad.
Here's the thing. I'm concerned about the Tigers? Yes. I'm concerned that they're at the point where if nothing gets going in, like, June, to say the least, then nothing will get going at all. But there's still a lot of time. Obviously, the injuries have not helped, and possibly some coaching woes and stuff, and maybe, I mean, I'm not going to speculate. Maybe there was some issues in the locker room, but if they can get some of these things straightened out and just say, hey, let's just focus. Let's take it one game at a time, one series at a time, and try to win as many of them as possible and give ourselves the best chance to be in position to try and snag a wild card come the All-Star break, then they'll be in pretty good shape. But there's definitely some work to be done for this Tigers team, and I can understand the way that these fans are feeling. Frustration and possibly just a lot of legitimate concern about whether or not they're going to get things turned around. It's just hard to say right now with this Tigers team.
That it is. And I've also heard that the Cubs have been having a few issues, have they not?
Yes, Tyler. They have. So, Cubs are second in the NL Central at 31-26. They're about, I think, 3 games, if not 2.5 to 3 games behind the Brewers. Pretty sure it's 3. But I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm not going to give you. I could tell you that things are fine with the Cubs, but that would just be a load of crap. The Cubs are lucky to be where they are at, following not their first, but the second 10-game losing skid of the season. Oh, it was ugly. Oh, it was making me rip my hair out. And if I don't have, I know I've got some gray hair growing, but I wouldn't be surprised if I've got a little bit more keeping up with the Cubs and watching them lose game after game. And then, of course, they're losing to the Pirates of all teams. And number of different reasons. Pitching woes, of course, that's a problem. And, oh my goodness, batting woes, that drives me nuts. Not being able to score runs. Okay, I'd like to know I need to take a closer look into who the batting coach is, because I think regardless of what happens after this season, there needs to be changes with the batting coaching. And, of course, Craig Counsell, all right? He deserves some of the blame for what's going on. Not all of it, but, look, it's his job to get this team ready. Blame always goes straight to the top. So, unfortunately, the Cubs did win the last two of the 4 games, or the last 2 games in a 4-game series against the Pirates. But before then, they were in a 10-game losing skid and just absolutely making me mad. Oh, I'm just glad it's over at this rate.
And now you got to go face the Cardinals in St. Louis. So, hey, that sounds like fun.
Well, if anything, this season is still a mystery. And here's the thing. This Cubs team, they're good enough to beat anyone when they're red hot, but they're also good enough to just lose to anyone at any time. It's hard to say. With this Cubs team, are we really a World Series contender? Are we just fool's gold at this point? Hard to say. With these kind of, you can't have 2 10-game winning streaks and two 10-game losing skids in the same season and expect to really win the World Series. Come on, that's just not how it works. All right, if this Cubs team is gonna not only make the postseason but also just make it comfortably and try to make a run, you got to be better. The pitching's got to be a lot better. Batting's got to be a lot louder. Coaching's got to be a lot stronger. Bottom line is, coaches and players share responsibility. The whole team needs to be more focused, needs to be more disciplined, and way more consistent.
Yeah, that stuff's very important for those folks on the north side of Chicago. Like we keep saying, it's a long season, but problems are still problems no matter what, and they have to get righted soon.
You telling me? So much for both of our teams to work harder on. But all hope, if you're a Tigers fan and a Cubs fan, hey, all hope is not lost yet. You still got a chance. You still got plenty of baseball in front of you. Just got to dig deep, focus in, put your head down, and swing the baseball bat and hit some home runs. Please, Cubs.
And hey, it's always still a fun time to go to a game, especially if you're a Tigers fan, because apparently tickets on resale markets are going to get cheaper nowadays. So with the summer months coming, it's nice to go to a ball game.
Yes, sir. This guy right next to me, he's got to be smiling about that. At least there's one positive. Cheaper tickets. So, all right. Shifting gears, we got Stanley Cup Playoffs. All right. Sports fans, to tell you the truth, I know we talked about this in my Wax on Wednesday vlog, and I still have not found exactly the reason why Colorado who looked so good in the first 2 rounds of the Stanley Cup playoffs, suddenly just disappeared in the 3rd round. Tyler, do you have an answer or
3 words? President's Trophy curse. It strikes again. It has always been persistent ever since the Wings were last injured, I think, 2008. So that curse, being the best team in the league, puts a target on your back and makes the challenge daunting for good reason. And boy, Colorado got hit hard.
I guess, you know what, Tyler? So far, I've been trying to dig for other reasons besides the President's Trophy, and you know what? I just can't find any. But you know what? Tyler said it best. It looks like the weight of the President's Trophy may have been very much too frickin' much for Colorado to carry around. The pressure. It came down on the Avs like an avalanche, didn't it?
Yeah.
But I will say, congratulations to the Golden Knights. Congrats to Vegas. They're on their way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Their postseason playoff experience from the past paying off. And quite honestly, all they had to do was just it feels like watching this whole series and keeping up with it at the very least, all they had to do was put the puck on the net, and they were going to score goals. Vegas really could not do much wrong in this series. Colorado I just don't feel like we really saw the best out of this Colorado team. Something went wrong, and hence why, you know what, this should be an episode on Unsolved Mysteries. Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries, the disappearance of the Colorado Avalanche. That's literally all. I don't know you know what, sports fans, I have just as much of a clue about what happened to the Colorado Avalanche in this postseason. I have just as much of an understanding to that as I do to what future considerations actually means when you are trying to trade an NHL player. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what can I add to an NHL trade that would be deemed future considerations. Literally. That's how much nonsense I got in my head going on about the series. Ugh.
Future considerations.
Colorado might need
Still
that.
the funniest 2 words ever. Right, at least chaos considerations in baseball is self-explanatory. Future considerations? Like we said a while back ago, it can mean anything. It still gives me the laughs.
As it does me too. Because we can literally because if you're saying, because future considerations, it just to guys like us, it just means it must be anything. Like we could even trade like coloring books, or for lack of better words, a bag of sun chips. I don't know. Colorado might need quite a few future considerations after this disastrous Western Conference final they had. I will say this. Once again, congrats to Vegas. And I'll tell you what, the Eastern Conference Finals still going on. Carolina could end up finishing off the Habs tonight, or Montreal. They could have a comeback in them. We're going to find out. And so all I got to say is it the Habs or the Habs nots?
Do the Habs have a comeback in them?
I hope they do. I mean, I would love to see Vegas versus Montreal in the Stanley Cup Finals, but my gut is telling me it's probably going to be Carolina and Vegas for the Stanley Cup. But I also believe that whoever's going up against the Golden Knights, I think the Golden Knights are going to win. That's just my gut. I could be wrong, but I think.
Well, I mean, you keep saying the team in the team in the Western Conference is likely going to be Cup champion, so you might be on. That still might be valid, even if it's Vegas that was able to pull off a shocking sweep.
That is true. I mean, the fact that Vegas, they didn't just beat the Colorado Avalanche, they swept them. One of the greatest upsets I have ever seen in the history of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, this Colorado team, they were a machine going into this series. They don't just get swept. They don't lose like this. But here they are. And maybe this Vegas team is actually way better than all of us gave them credit for. And they look poised to win another cup. Now, will my statement of a Western Conference team winning it all this season hold true? Only one way to find out. And depends on if it's Carolina or Montreal going to the Stanley Cup Finals and representing the East.
Yep. And we also have, and quickly pivot to basketball, Cleveland, what was that? You let the biggest media market in the country foam at the mouth of being in a NBA Finals. The Knicks walked over you after you took the Pistons to 7 games. What was that? Just be lucky that Spurs Thunder goes to 7 games tomorrow night. At that, so it's just now the Knicks had to wait a full week plus for their champion before the finals began. Although the Thunder have 3 days until Game 1 on Wednesday night, or is it? Yeah, I think it's Wednesday. Yeah.
I was gonna say you know more about the NBA schedule than I do.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm the biggest fan per se, but even still, it's just I'm still baffled that the team that beat the Pistons flopped harder than James Harden.
or Grayson Allen for that matter. But first of all, congratulations to the New York Knicks. You're going back to the NBA Finals. You got a chance to win an NBA championship. And honestly, I mean, I don't know if they're actually going to win it. I haven't really watched a lot of NBA basketball, but I kind of hope the Knicks win it. But Tyler and I talked a little bit about this, and I'm in agreement with Tyler on one thing. I do think if the Pistons get past Cleveland, I do think the Pistons would have beaten the Knicks. But that's just me.
Right.
But, oh, man, Cleveland, you got nicked. Literally.
Painful.
Nicked. But congratulations to New York. You got something to celebrate this upcoming June.
But here's the thing. Does this make James Dolan likable as an owner?
Oh, that's true. They got that guy as their owner. Well, I guess we're gonna find out if.
Yeah. Oh, boy. I mean, if you're a Knicks fan, you've always wanted to tell him to sell the team, which triggers him. He's banned folks left and right with facial recognition technology crap, and especially lawyers and secondary employees there, and like receptionists. And he's just not very all that likable. And now, even with his hand being hand off, the team's going to the finals in spite of him being the owner. It's just complicated.
Very complicated. Here's the thing. Here's my advice. Here's what I will tell Knicks fans, all right? You still want your team to win it, all right? And I hope your team wins it. And you know what? If your team wins it, just party hard, celebrate, and don't even think about them. Just don't let the owner of the Knicks go in your mind, okay? And when we celebrate championships, we don't even think about the owners. We think about the team, all right? Yes, there's an owner that always owns the team, but the team is the players and the coaches, all the staff, all right? Let's be happy for them. Don't even lay a thought on ownership, all right? Just focus on the team,
right?
And you'll be happy, I promise. All right, we're going to shift gears now. My man, all right, sports fans, we hope you enjoyed the racing this weekend because, oh my goodness, there were some great races, and I am going to start by letting Tyler Lavalette get his thoughts out on the Indianapolis 500 and the Coke 600.
Well, unrelated, but let's talk about if you had the opportunity on Friday during Carb Day to watch the six Oscar Mayer Mobiles race, you saw another close finish in the 2-lap Weenie 500 with the New York dog winning it to the chagrin of the fan base. I'll just get that one out of the way because, once again, that race happened. It was on the main Fox channel. Mm-hmm. It was fun. Pit stop competition got called early due to rain. Money split by the teams and charity. Now, with that out of the way, 2 days later, the 500. More great racing to the very end. David Maluka, it looked like he's going to win. Rosenquist beats him 0.023 at the line, seconds at the line for the distance. For comparison, Al Unser Jr. held off Scott Goodyear in 1992 with 0.043. Ladies and gentlemen, that record I talked about of the closest finish, that's now just got broken in 2026 with that 0.023 distance margin victory. Yes, we have a new closest finish in IndyCar in the 500. Sweden gets its third driver winning the race. And Meyer Racing, another win for those guys. Now they're off to Detroit this weekend. Should be fun.
Absolutely. That Detroit Grand Prix, always fun to watch, whether it's on Belle Isle or the streets of Detroit. Although I preferred Belle Isle. Me and Tyler actually had the fortune of going to Belle Isle in 2018, and that was an experience.
With Mark Roy crashing the pace car.
That's right. So, some guy crashed the pace car.
Yeah, when the president of GM does that, that's just... I think that 10 years after I saw the Alt 400 have the tires blowing out every 10 laps at the IMS.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
But, yeah.
But yeah, come to think of it, I kind of need something funny to happen in 2028 to keep the 10-year streak going.
It's the pace car. Hit the pace car. Hit the pace car. No, crash the pace car. We made a whole lot of jokes about it that day. Back to Indy 500. Of course, for those of you who actually either did or didn't watch the Weenie 500, the one thing that always sticks with me from that race was one of the machines, or the Oscar Mayer machines, actually just swerved right into the path of the other one and ran him off the track. I'm like, he should be penalized for that. That's a reactionary block. And instead, we get New York Hot Dog winning it, and people in Indy were not pleased. There were boos raining down.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's no Detroit representation.
If
only.
only.
Like, come on. Okay, Chicago, I get it, but Slaw, Seattle, and the corn dog. the stick sticking out the back.
I could tell which one that was too. It's like, no wonder that one's got a stick. It's a corn dog. The things that make the Indy 500 so fun. But
don't you just love the start of the American summer pit traditions?
Oh man, we are so getting off track. Anyways, it still has not sunk in my head. Like, it hasn't settled in. Like, that was the closest finish in Indy 500. I was like, wait, that was the closest finish? I was for sure thought there was a closer one, and before then there was, but not anymore. Here we are. And first of all, I want to say this. Congrats to Felix Rosenqvist and his family. And for those of you who don't know, Mr. Rosenqvist became a father recently. So,
yep, baby girl Stella.
Yep. He and his family, they got so much to celebrate. A beautiful daughter, and now Dad's an Indy 500 champion for the rest of his life. His face is going to be on the Borg Warner for the rest of his life. That's pretty special, so congrats to him. Well deserved. He had a great strategy. I mean, a great race car, too. In the end, that 60 car was the fastest car in the end, and Felix Rosenqvist, the best driver in the Indy 500. He kept himself in position and made that move. Amazing stuff. And David Malukas, keep that head held high, man. You did great, and your time is coming.
Yeah, I know he got emotional at the very end. Emotional knowing he had the win so close, only to have it get snatched away last second. And I understand those tears coming. They were tough tears. It was a tough pill to swallow. But one day he's gonna get a win. It just wasn't meant to be.
Just not this year. But it would not surprise me as long as David is driving that 12 car. It would not surprise me if sometime down the future he wins that race for Roger Penske. And now he's going to be more hungry. Like, imagine if he wins that race. That's not only his first Indy 500 win, that's his first career win. How about that? Would be one heck of a first career win. But like Tyler said, Indy had chosen a different driver to represent her as the champion this year, as some would say. But you know what? Malukas' time is coming. The kid's got a lot of talent. He's got the hunger, the heart, the drive, the passion. I love those tears. When I saw those tears, I'm like, that kid is passionate, and I like this kid a lot. I want to see him succeed. And being from Chicago, Illinois, of course, not quite my home state of Indiana, but he is from Chicago, which is not too far from where life started for me in Mishawaka. But I want to see Malukas win a 500, and I hope he keeps going, and I hope he's just more hungry than ever to win a race. And once more, a lot of good racing in this Indy 500. Plenty of storytelling. And hey, to close it off, for the Indy 500 part at least, we saw a great textbook illustration of the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat.
That we did. The Coke 600 was racing under heavy hearts, and we'll of course have to get into those reasons shortly. But surprise, all the talk of rain causing issues with 500. The truck race supposedly got pushed back twice to Sunday morning, and then had to get done by noon, apparently to get coverage to try people to watch the 500, much as we're going to fans. The O'Reilly Auto Parts race, it ended early due to rain Saturday night. The Coke 600 also ended early due to rain in the fourth stage because of rain. First time all three series a weekend at a track have ended their races earlier than the scheduled distance or of laps. And then it's just Mother Nature, so you can't really do much.
Yeah, that's frustrating. And there was a time where this year's Indy 500 was under the threat of rain too, and thankfully the rain never came.
Well, it did.
At least
for a little problem apparently, but nothing too bad.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, sports fans, don't listen to me. Sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about. I forgot about the rain. It was a little bit of rain, not enough to really stop the race, but yeah, there was a little bit of rain. Not as much, of course, as Tyler mentioned in Charlotte. But
congrats to Daniel Suarez. He gets a much-needed win, and
I was about to say,
really helped him out in the chase standings, if I'm not mistaken.
Happy for that guy, too. Daniel Suarez, I got a lot of respect for him. That guy, he never gives up. He just keeps going, no matter what kind of adversity is thrown his way. So, great racing action this weekend. And Tyler mentioned that both of the races were under heavy hearts, and we are going to get into the reason for that. This next topic, we are going to take the time to remember one of, not just NASCAR's, but one of auto racing's greatest drivers ever, in Kyle Busch. And I'll let Tyler Lavalette get started here.
Last Thursday, we found out that Kyle Busch would be missing the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte and the truck race because that weekend in Charlotte because he went into the hospital. We did not realize it until NASCAR announced it around 5 p.m., I think it was, that he would pass away at the age of 41. It would later be revealed he had pneumonia and that it would worsen to sepsis, which killed him at such a young age. He had left behind Samantha, his wife, his son Brexton, who had just turned 11 days prior, and his daughter Lennox. That young family has dealt with a harsh, heavy blow with the loss of their support system. And NASCAR and auto racing lost a true icon, a two-time champion, a great competitor, someone people liked and or disliked, depending on what side of the fence you were on, but just a dang good driver taken far too soon. He had won a truck race in Dover the weekend prior, and he said in a post-race interview, "Enjoy every win. You just never know which one is going to be your last." That truck race win, that was his last. We would see tributes to him in IndyCar, F1, Mercedes even shared a tweet. Toyota's various auto departments sent tweets. Even past sponsors like 3G in marijuana and M&M's took the time to offer their condolences. We saw the influx of Kyle Busch's success beyond just NASCAR.
I was numbed by this news. I won't sugarcoat it. When Tyler told me the news, I was in such disbelief that I was numbed by it. Just didn't know how to feel. And so it took a while for it to really kick in that he was truly gone. A couple of things I wanted to add. I talked about Kyle Busch on my Wax on Wednesday vlog, but I want to add some things that I should have talked about, things I should have added. Tyler said it too. Whether you loved Kyle Busch or whether you hated him, whether it was due to him being called the wild thing due to his wild personality, or he drove you nuts because he won all the races there was, or you liked him because he had that persona to it. The thing is, you can't deny NASCAR, in my opinion, was a much better motorsport with Kyle Busch in it. NASCAR had a lot of its viewership because of him. And not saying they will lose viewership. I think they'll be fine there. But NASCAR has lost a very big piece, a very big part of who it was, because we like to see personalities come out. We like to see driver personalities, and Kyle Busch had all of that. You know, he was NASCAR probably for the longest time. He was NASCAR's biggest villain for a long time. You know, especially when he started at Joe Gibbs Racing, and then he went from being the villain to actually kind of a hero in a sense, and one of its most not only well-liked, but one of its most appreciated drivers for all the history he made. I mean, he's got quite the legacy. Over 100 wins across NASCAR's top 3 series.
200, actually.
200? Holy. See, that's a boatload of wins. A lot of trophies. He owned a team at one point. I don't remember what.
Kyle Busch Motorsports?
Yep. I don't remember if he shut it down. Or
Yeah, Spire Motorsports is in the building and has assets from the KBM days.
Hey, but still, he paved the roots for Spire Motorsports, and paved the way for his son Brexton. Wouldn't surprise me to see him in the sport someday soon.
I was hoping to have seen Kyle versus Brexton in at least a truck series. That would have been fun.
Yeah, those two racing against each other, that would have been a treat.
We got robbed of it.
Never given it. And of course, as I've mentioned before, he brought character to a sport that needed all the character it could get. When there was NASCAR news around Kyle Busch, hey, this is news we want to read about, whether it was good or bad. And first Greg Biffle, and now Kyle Busch. NASCAR has lost in less than 6 months. Two NASCAR legends gone, and Kyle Busch gone too soon. I'm just so heartbroken for his family, his friends, and his wife, of course, and his 2 children. I'm gutted for his brother Kurt. I mean, here's the thing. Say what you want about Kurt Busch too, but the Busch brothers, I mean, they might not have always gotten along, but they made NASCAR a better sport. And I just really, my heart really hurts for Kurt Busch. And seeing him lay down those flowers at Charlotte Motor Speedway around the 8, that hurt my heart a lot. Like, that really just, really, it made my heart hurt more than I could probably handle.
Amazon did a good job on the broadcast at the start of that race. They did the tribute. They talked poignantly about him, and they had the lap 8 moment of silence. And it was just, they did what they had to do for that race, and they did good. And Fox also did good for the Indy 500 pre-race. They showed the pylon they talked about Kyle Busch in the first going to break the first time during pre-race coverage, and then went to it showing the pylon with 1995, 2026 on it. It's so surreal. I'll never forget. I was doing work with my mom's and saw it on Facebook, and it was from NASCAR. And when it's something from NASCAR, it's official. No fakeness about it. None of those stories you see on social media that come from some odd fan site you've never even heard of for your team. It has a dubious link at best. None of that. If it's from the league, then it's official.
Yeah, and for the record, I'd just like that. I've seen stories like that too on Facebook, and it just always makes me cringe because I know that's not true. That's just all a bunch of a hog spit, as we call it. So,
yeah, that's why I report and block those pages.
Yeah, I need to block
every
this.
now and then. But regardless, it's just, what do you do if you're a Kyle Busch fan? What do you do if you're Childress and now at the age being retired to make way for the 33? What is the path forward? It's just, what do you, like I keep saying, what do you do? Just keep raising, that's for sure. But even then, this boy is in such a big, dark cloud that we have not seen since Dale died.
Oh, man.
And that was on track. Kyle died in the hospital. Showing Martin got blamed for Earnhardt's death. Erroneously, it turned out he did not, cause Earnhardt to crash in the wall. Kyle dying in hospital means you don't have a driver with any online accusational baggage. And every driver wears a Hans device now. Did we have a safer barrier because of Earnhardt? What do you do about with Kyle dying? More stringent medical attention? Which might not necessarily be needed, don't get me wrong, because he was complaining about problems even far back at Watkins Glen. But it's just, like I said, he's gone. It's just, still feels surreal over a week later.
And I will add this. If you're NASCAR, what do you do going forward? Well, if you're all three of those parties that me and Tyler mentioned, you carry on, you keep your eyes going forward, you think about the future, and you also think about, the legacy, the impact that the passing of a guy like Kyle Busch, the impact it will have on NASCAR, and what positive changes might happen, to say like medical practices for drivers. That's something that we're going to be that I'm sure NASCAR is going to be thinking a lot about in the teams. I will close this topic off by saying this. When I first saw Kyle Busch racing, this was back in 2005. He's making his rookie season. I'm just a little kid. I was actually just finishing 5th grade, going on to 6th grade, and I watched him race, and I thought to myself, he's not just going to be better than his brother Kurt Busch. He's going to be one of NASCAR's very best. Kyle Busch, one to watch. Those were my first thoughts on him. I liked him as a driver at first. Then I disliked him. Then I went back to liking him. And I cannot deny, regardless of where you're at with Kyle Busch, whether you like him or dislike him, you can't deny one of the best racing car drivers we have ever seen. And rest in peace, Kyle Busch, and to Samantha, and to the rest of to Kurt Busch and the rest of the Busch family. We're all thinking about you, and we're all praying for you. Mm-hmm. And wishing you healing. And that is also where our golden moment in sports leads us. You were a special race car driver when your impact is felt, not just in your sport, but in other motorsports. Here's a clip from the Indy 500.
And as the drivers exit turn 4 and cross the yard of bricks on lap 18, we remember Kyle Busch. And as the drivers exit turn 4
I will say,
and cross the yard of bricks,
Kyle Busch had quite a few different numbers in his NASCAR career. 5, 18, and 8 are going to be his most well-known, but it's great that that the Indy 500 chose lap 18 to pay their tribute to a wonderful man and a great great racing car driver, but an even more wonderful man.
Yeah, number 18, the number 18 font got approval to be on, I think, a Dale Coyne Racing car that day.
You are correct, actually.
Yep, it was perfect. But yeah, that they used, the 18 that he ran at Gibbs for so long, that just spoke volume to his impact.
It most certainly does. I mean, he had quite a few numbers, but 18. When we think Kyle Busch, we think of 18 because that's the number he really made his impact on in the not just the world of NASCAR, but in all of motorsports when you think about things. All right, sports fans, that's all we got for this week's Friday Roundtable. I do want to answer, in case someone was wondering, yes, me and my man Tyler Lavalette, at some point, we will be talking about the FIFA World Cup, which is starting this month.
Yep, in a few weeks.
Yep, June 11th. So we will be, just want to get into this real quick. We'll be talking about the FIFA World Cup. And yes, we will be debating whether or not Team USA can pull a miracle and win it all on home soil in the 2026 World Cup.
We will get down to that in due course. But for now, hope you've enjoyed this wonderful video. Be sure to like and subscribe to Two Guys Talk Sports and other things on YouTube, as well as for more content like this. And be sure to follow us on Two Guys Talk Sports on Facebook as well.
Wonderful words of wisdom here by Tyler. And I want to give thanks to my man Tyler, to Josh, to Whitney, and everyone here at the studio. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Without you guys, none of this would be possible. It's an absolute joy and a privilege to be able to come here every Friday and talk to sports, talk to our audience about sports, and to all you folks. For now, we are going to sign off for this week. This is Jake Waxman
and Tyler Lavalette.
Wishing you all a good week.